Minnesota's been named a top 5 place to live in the entire country for the last decade. But how is that? I'm about to share with you why you would not move to Minnesota and how me and all the other Minnesotans maneuver those things. So getting right into the first downside is going to be the weather. But I just want to debunk something real quick. If you're not from the area and you're thinking about moving to Minnesota, it's not always what they portray in the movies. They just picture it as like the snowy place or like the place that looks like Antarctica. But in reality, that's just a small snapshot of the weather situation that we have here in Minnesota. And the part that I want to touch on more is actually going to be the unpredictability of the weather, not just the snow that you've already heard about. So quick disclaimer, let it be known that Minnesota is heaven on earth from May all the way through like October. We have the best summer and fall in the world, and that is completely unrivaled by anywhere that I've personally seen. But with that beautiful weather comes the other side of the coin, which is going to be our winters. And the unpredictability is really what I want to touch on. Sometimes it'll be like beginning of April and it'll be beautiful and sunny and birds are chirping and it's like 60 out. And then all of a sudden, just like you wake up, boom, snowing. On top of that, you'll see in the summers, we'll have a 100-degree day, like the day of the shooting, and you'll have a 60-degree day in the same week. There's just a lot of volatility. And so I think that's what you need to prepare for over preparing for the winters that there's a million other things about, and a really insightful video that I've already created for you right up there. So without spending too much time on that, we're going to move right on to number 2. And that downfall is going to be road construction. Obviously, because of the makeup of our weather, we have a lot of blizzards, we have a lot of freezing and then thawing. And what does that do to our roads? Absolutely tears them up. So because of that, we've got pretty much ongoing cyclical road construction all throughout the year. Those orange cones, you're going to get used to seeing them every time you get in your car. So there really is no key takeaway or advice I can give you about the ongoing road construction, but I will tell you this. You may want to take it into account when considering where you live in relativity to where you work, because it may lengthen your commute. On top of that, you're going to just want to be slightly more prudent about planning road trips, cabin trips, things of that nature, because your route that you were planning to take might not actually be open when you pull up your maps and realize that it's under construction and it's going to reroute you. I don't want you finding out about that when it's too late. The third downfall on this list is going to be income tax. In all actuality, it's not that high, but I do understand that some states have none, so I'm reasonable to the fact that we have a high income tax. They got to have a way to pay for that ongoing construction somehow, right? With that said, Minnesota is always very, very clean. We have amazing public schools rated extremely high in that regard. So I personally feel that what I see while living in Minnesota warrants my high taxes and feels worth it to me. It's never been something I complained about, but if you're a transplant coming from one of those no income states, I just want to address it and let you know that that's a difference that you'll have to see here. Downfall number 4, and this one's not really a downfall, more just a general disclaimer because I think it's impactful to know, is going to be travel. So I want to touch on a couple things on the topic of travel. One is that there's not really like a quick getaway in Minnesota. Like you can just go up north in Minnesota where like that's more the cabin vibe, but you're not going to be able to quickly go to the beach or quickly go to the mountains. We don't really live that close to those things. And then this is just like a weird mental continuum that we all deal with here, is that every single flight out of Minneapolis airport is 3 hours to 3.5 hours. No matter where you're going, it's all 3.5 hours. All right, last but not least, we have our final downfall in this video, and that is going to be bugs. Most important one I want to touch on is definitely going to be mosquitoes. And general rule of thumb is like where there's water, there's mosquitoes, right? So if you plan to come here and you want to live up north, you want to live on the lake, or you want to travel up north a lot, you're going to probably encounter your first swarm of mosquitoes. They are very real. They do bite you and they do itch. On the bright side, like our problems with our bugs are like we spray mosquito spray and put on cream if it's itching. We don't have like anacondas outside. We don't have like scorpions. We don't have spiders the size of my hand. We don't have any of that really big, weird, crazy bug activity. We have more like pesky gnats, flies, bees, mosquitoes. I do want to add one bonus downside to living in Minnesota, and it might not apply to you if you're coming from a state because you probably already have your sports team picked out. You're probably already a fan. But if you live here, you're not going to want to be a fan of the local sports because we suck at everything. We're always like really good, and then we get a lot of hype, and everyone in the city like bands together, and Minnesota's got nothing to do but watch this sport, and then we lose in like the playoffs or the championship, and we never amount to anything. So if you are a sad sports fan, do not become a Minnesota sports fan because it's only going to make it worse. So that's going to wrap it up on the 5 downfalls of living in Minneapolis with the bonus tip. And if you found this video to be unique or insightful in any way, shape, or form, I would greatly appreciate it if you like, commented, or subscribe to the channel. That's what greatly motivates me to continue to make your life easier by putting out good content. If you have any questions about moving to Minnesota or looking into your personal situation, I'd be happy to answer those. My Instagram and phone numbers, both in my YouTube banner and in the description, so feel free, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.